Now to the race for a New York City mayor, already complicated with the plight of Eric Adams, now even more tangled with former Governor Andrew Cuomo entering the race.
The mayoral field is growing big time, and now many of the candidates, politically speaking, are going after Mr. Cuomo, who became the instant frontrunner after officially announcing his candidacy on Saturday.
We have two reports tonight. N.J. Burkett is covering Mr. Cuomo's political comeback, but we begin with CeFaan Kim and today's developments in the mayor's race. He's live at City Hall. CeFaan?
Well, Sade and Bill, when Andrew Cuomo officially tossed his hat into the ring, he instantly reset the dynamics in this race. And if you needed further proof that he is the immediate frontrunner, then just ask yourself why. He took incoming fire from all sides from the moment he stepped in, and that hasn't stopped today. Some would say embattled Mayor Eric Adams' resistance to growing calls for him to step down is a liability. But the mayor says it's an asset, noting when things got tough, the former governor quit.
I don't think there's ever been a mayor that had to deal with so much noise. And what happens when you're faced with not only professional crises, but personal crises? Do you step down or do you step up?
Cuomo was framing his candidacy in part around fears of rising crime. But overall, crime is down compared to when Adams took office, although it's higher than the historic pre-pandemic lows. The former governor, though, says the city needs to be saved. No surprise, the incumbent has a different view.
I do believe we need to be saved from him, but I can't campaign from this place. And so we are clear. You go to 2020 and you look at what was happening in this city in 2020 and look at where we are now. Crime was through the roof.
Cuomo resigned following sexual harassment allegations, and his opponents are making sure voters don't forget. City Comptroller Brad Lander standing today with sex assault advocates.
To demand that Andrew Cuomo return every penny of the $28 million and growing that he is using to defend himself from 13 sexual harassment cases.
Cuomo jumps into an already crowded race, one that includes a current comptroller, a former comptroller, 2 state senators, and a current and former state assembly member. Cuomo is trying to claim the moderate lane, his political home, and one that is currently occupied by Mayor Adams, who arguably carries even more baggage than the former governor. Governor Hochul, whose bad blood with her predecessor is no secret, says she trusts the voters of this city to make a smart choice.
My job is to work with whomever the voters decide they want as their mayor.
And it is as if this race wasn't already crowded enough. City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams formed an exploratory committee last week, and she says she will decide this week whether she will jump into this race. Primary day is less than 4 months away. Reporting live at City Hall, CeFaan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Fun, really interesting story. Thank you for that. We want to dig a little deeper into Andrew Cuomo's candidacy. The former New York governor resigned 3 years ago last August. As governor, he was productive and introduced a huge number of bold programs, but he also had his problems, including accusations of harassing women, and he was criticized for moving COVID-19 victims into nursing homes. He wasn't the only official who ever did that, but he kept it quiet. The question now, will voters support Mr. Cuomo completely to make his political comeback? That is the conundrum for him. N.J. Burkett, also at City Hall with that part of our coverage. Newt?
Right, Bill, we will find out in the coming weeks and months how much those Cuomo scandals really matter to the voters. As Mayor Adams is quick to point out, crime is trending lower in recent weeks and fairly quickly. But the mayor also points out that New Yorkers need to feel safe. Governor Cuomo is betting they don't.
My friends, we can save our city.
Andrew Cuomo sees New York as a city in crisis, launching his campaign in a 17-minute video this past weekend, promising to tackle everything from homeless mentally ill in the streets to fear in the transit system and the onslaught of e-bikes.
The city just feels threatening, out of control, and in crisis. These conditions exist not as an act of God, but rather as an act of our political leaders.
Although he does not mention Mayor Adams by name, he says the city's leadership has failed New Yorkers with incompetent, unintelligent decision-making.
We need a government with leadership that can take a stand and get things done intelligently, professionally, efficiently, effectively, and do it now.
Cuomo is regarded by some as a skilled crisis manager. He claims credit for a number of projects, including the Moynihan Train Hall and rebuilding LaGuardia Airport. His leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic made him a respected national figure. But he resigned in disgrace in 2021 amid multiple accusations of sexual harassment, which he denied. There were questions about COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes and a controversial $5 million book deal. Cuomo is quick to blame city and state leaders for crime in New York, but does not mention that as governor, he signed the state's controversial bail reform laws. Political consultant Hank Scheinkoff.
I think that New Yorkers don't want chaos. That's the difference. They feel things are out of control. If they didn't, they wouldn't look to Andrew Cuomo, who's a manager. They'd say, Eric Adams is great, let's continue. But they're not doing that. His polling numbers are atrocious. But that doesn't mean you should count out the incumbent mayor.
So much can happen in the coming weeks and will, but does the Cuomo candidacy change the dynamic? Absolutely. Tonight at City Hall, N.J. Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.